Mother's
Great
Day.
Mother's Day talk. Great. Sorry. Hey, Mom, let's honor you by talking about death and dying and old people. We're
Right?
awful.
Um, Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Grandma's Not Right.
Grandma's not right.
I'm Cheryl,
I'm Wendy.
and we're not right,
No,
but we are grandmas.
we are grandmas.
Sometimes, sometimes we're right, but
Well, yeah, so sometimes we're right, and then when we,
let's.
when we prove that we're right, we can't resist rubbing that in,
Of course, of course.
especially to our male counterparts.
Yes,
I don't have a male counterpart anymore. Thank you very much, but I have males that live at my house.
yes, yes.
So,
But yeah, we are definitely not right in the head. We're proud of that,
I am proud.
and we
Oh,
and we're very unorthodox as far as being mothers, as far as
oh
our
God.
parenting. Our kids
Yeah,
grew up in a wild and crazy
they
household.
did.
Yeah,
But
whatever.
they're not thieves and they're not murderers. I guess that's
They're living really good lives. They're doing pretty dang good.
I think so.
So I think we did a good job.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, yes.
uh, so um, a real quick update on how was your week? Any quick stories?
Uh, last night I did something dumb and you'll totally appreciate this. Okay, so I hurt my elbow like just overused just right here. We talked about that I think last time. So I've been using, ibuprofen, and then my son got me that THC icy hot kind of stuff. So I've
Yeah,
been using that and wearing a brace. The brace really doesn't really help the way that in the area that it is right here. It doesn't really help, but it
yeah.
reminds me because you can't bend really easily with the brace on. So it just reminds me, hey, dummy, don't use your arm, use the other arm. Well, I was at the gym and coaching the level
Mhm.
threes, the advanced girls. And, I get these bright ideas. We don't even need lesson plans at this point after almost 40 years. You just, it's like, I want to
Right.
do this today. So I'm going to have them get on the high bar and do counter swing, tap swings. And then they have the little French fry speed bump things. And I'm going to hold them up. And then, their feet hit this and their shoulders hit this one. And yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they have a big spotting block. So I pulled that over with this arm, pulled the spotting block over. I never asked the kids to help, which is one of my big dumb things. All the coaches like, hey, kids, move that over there. And they're like in their 30s or 20s. So I pull the mat, I get on the block. It's not close enough. I'm afraid I'm going to step off. So I go, hey, kids, Miss Wendy's going to hold on to the high bar. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump up for a second, and then you slide the mat under my feet. And so I jumped up and she slid it. She's really into it, man. She's watching me. And I did it again. And I go, okay, thanks. Fine, no pain, nothing's happening. As soon as I picked up the little French fry, just the ways next to the, it's like a pool noodle feel, right? And I extend my arm to hold it up for them to, I realize, oh no, it
Yep.
hurt so bad. But of course, being the professional that I am, I had to push through. I didn't ask the other coach to do it, the young coach that I'm uh, mentoring, and I'm telling her how to do it, and I'm like, oh my god, and they're kicking it, and every time they kick it, I'm like, oh shit,
Mm.
oh shit, oh shit. But it was
Uh,
okay. Like I know. And so this morning I put a brace on when I went to my other job, and I'm only doing the food in that job. I don't change diapers, unless they really need me to, just because I happen to be doing the food and cleaning up the tables and stuff. But so it's not a big deal. But it was just like as soon as I touched that little thing, I went, ah,
uh,
why did I do that? I totally just forgot because it was starting to heal throughout the week. Well, that's not heal, duh, with an
right.
ed at the end. That's healing. So anyway,
Yikes.
that was just really. I mean, the rest of the week it's just nothing exciting happened. that I can
Normal
remember.
stuff.
I guess if I don't remember something, then it wasn't that big of a deal, I guess.
Probably not.
So,
Maybe.
so how about you?
Um, nothing really. I finally got Jace to go back to his program this week.
Oh, good.
Um,
Okay.
Mike just kept saying, you just need to make him. You just need to make him. So I just kind of told him, dude, you're going to go back just for a couple days. Let's see how it goes. So anyway, he
Okay.
went yesterday and today, and
Okay.
he did fine. And
Good.
I had a dentist appointment today, so Mike picked him up for me, and he said that it was all good. So we're back on track for now with that.
All right.
And yeah, so
Cool, cool.
that's about it. Nothing else. Nothing else exciting for me. Just a normal, regular old week.
Well, the only difference is today's Thursday,
Yeah, instead of Friday.
which is why I'm sans drinking and you're not sans butt wiping your son right before the
That's
podcast
right.
starts.
But I am drinking water out of my old crone, grumpy old crone
Oh,
mug.
grumpy old girl. Which, by the way, I keep calling this a podcast, but until we get it audio, we really probably shouldn't call it a podcast. It's
I
a
don't think people
webcast.
care.
I know.
Whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah.
We're old ladies anyway. I don't give a shit. But it was just funny. I thought
It's
about
so
that the other
funny.
day.
It's so cute. Those old ladies, they call it a podcast. They don't even know what they're talking about, but they're cute.
We're working on it.
We're trying to
We're
catch
gonna
up
have,
with y'all, you youngins.
I know, like you said, it's so much work. We're gonna have to start at whatever the 50th episode instead of episode 1 or something. It doesn't
I
matter.
don't know.
It doesn't matter. It's all good. It's
It
all good.
is. So yeah, Mother's Day's coming up.
Yep. A few more
Yeah.
days.
2 more days. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So today, viewers, we're going to talk a little bit about Mother's Day, and we're going to talk about our own mom and our daughters being moms. We're going to touch on that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Of
Um,
course.
so, why don't I start off with, I'm going to just, a lot of people already know this, but I don't know. I didn't really know. Did you know the history of Mother's Day?
I feel like it was
Kind
something.
of.
I feel like, I don't know. I may be talking out my ass because I think I know stuff and then I find out, no, not even close. I don't know. I felt like it was tied to suffragette stuff or something, or I don't know. I feel like it happened in the 20s or 30s,
It
maybe.
actually, 1908,
I was-
a woman in the U.S. named Anna Jarvis,
okay.
she wanted to honor the sacrifices that mothers make. So, following her own mother's death, she, started pushing this idea of how mothers sacrifice so much to raise a family and so on.
Right.
And so, in 1914, Woodrow Wilson signed a proclamation designating the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day, celebration for
Oh,
Mother's Day.
okay.
So yeah, although from what I read, the woman who initiated it was really upset in her later years because it had become so commercialized with
Oh, wow.
the cards and the flower shops and so on. So it had
Oh,
moved from the kind of revering mothers in a serious way to this commercialized thing. But whatever.
just
It's a,
another excuse to go stuff our faces and give each other expensive things or getting things that you don't need. Like we want. We've talked about this before. How all I asked for was a basketball hoop, and I was told I'm not going to get a basketball hoop. Like who does that? And I got expensive perfume that I don't really we didn't wear or what and that's okay. The thought was nice, but it was just like, but there's things that I just want. But that's all
well,
right. They try.
yes, they do. But anyway, this Mother's Day, well, I'm going to
Oh,
be,
wait a minute. Can I just say what I just said that's what that wasn't. But Mother's Day is for mothers, and that wasn't coming from my kids, mind you. I
Okay.
loved everything my kids gave me. When I say that, it didn't mean from my kids things I didn't want. I meant from the spouse, but spouses that I've had, but I'm not their mother, and that's a whole nother subject that
Yeah, that's a whole other part to it.
someone
Yeah.
else in our family used to mention, like, why are you giving me a gift? I'm not your mother, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's okay when they're babies and it's cute, but then it's like, dude. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're gonna
No,
be
that's
where
okay.
now?
I'm going to be babysitting,
Oh yeah.
so I'm going to be staying the night there, and so Sunday morning I'm going to be coming back into town. I'm going
Oh,
to
you're not driving back Saturday?
No, I decided not to because just because I'm not sure how late they'll be home.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop and see mom. I'm gonna stop, So
Okay.
anyway, and Miranda's gonna be coming out from Vegas, so I'm try to see her. I don't know what
Nice.
Kristen's plans are, so I'm just gonna see how that day goes, and
Yeah.
but anyway, um, yeah, it's you know I always just think of mom, Mother's Day. I know my daughters want to see me, and of course I love seeing them, but I never expect them to do anything special because I'm just not, it's, I'm proud to be a mom and I love my
Yeah. I don't
daughters and
need the.
things,
Yeah, I don't need it.
but I don't need the big
Yeah,
celebration.
I joke about the gifts and all that, but yeah, I don't. I'm fine with just either, especially if you see your kids all the time. Like I
Yeah.
see my kids. My one kid lives with me, and one I babysit their kid. So I have the pleasure of seeing my kids every
Hmm.
day, still in their
Yeah.
almost 40. So I don't need that special day. It's like, appreciate it and thanks for
Right.
acknowledging, but I don't sweat it if we didn't get together. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys don't do anything for me for Mother's Day. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. So, and
Well,
again, with the, yeah.
huh?
No, and again, like I said, with the spouses trying to, I don't know if maybe they're trying to make you feel, well, I want to make sure you're honored as a mother and this show that I appreciate you being a mother, which is
Yeah.
cool.
It's
Totally cool.
nice.
A nice heartfelt card, that's great. But I don't, yeah, flowers. I always said flowers, it's great. I didn't want them wasting $30. Well, 30, they were 30. I'm sure they're more now on roses. I'm not a roses, like you got to get me roses. I said, go pick some flowers or, the
Yeah.
$10 spring bouquet with different. And I like carnations anyway over roses. I like the smell of them. So to me, it's like, and then so when I bought myself flowers one time, why are you buying yourself flowers? You said you didn't like flowers. No, I said I didn't like expensive flowers. Like, if you're going to spend that much money on flowers, I'd rather have a gift card or at the time before gift cards came along, clothes or or candy. I like chocolate. I'd rather eat $30 in chocolate than have $30 roses. So, or take
Yeah.
me to dinner. I'd rather eat $30 in my
Right?
belly.
Dinner is always nice.
Anyway, that's just me, but to each his own. That's fine. Whatever floats somebody's boat.
Right. But I'm just so grateful that we still have our mom here on this planet and our dad.
Yeah, yeah,
So many people don't, and
exactly.
but just it's really amazing that we do. Um,
Can
so
I can, can I interject with a terrible thing I said to
yes,
our mother today? I happened to see mom because um, Thursdays are Amelia and I special day.
yeah,
And then I
yeah,
said, "Hey, mom, you want to, we're gonna go somewhere. Do you want to meet up?" So we went. I had to go to the bank, and then we went to Dairy Queen and got some ice cream, and then went to Flag Hill Park to mess around.
yeah.
And so we're sitting there at the ice cream shop, and she goes, and obviously she listens to this, so you're gonna hear it, mom. She goes, I got the news mirror, and somebody died. And it was just so shocking, and I just kind of like go, but mom, really, is it that shocking? And she knows me and she laughs. She's never appalled really by anything I say at this point, but But it was just funny. It's like, I'm sorry. It's like you're 84. Like, it's so shocking that one of your friends died. She goes, well, they're all kind of dying off. I go, I know, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't,
Yeah.
I hope you're okay with that. I just had to make my little funny, but it was just like, but we're getting to that point too, people we see in the paper our age, where I'm in my 50s, almost 60. I got one
Right.
more year. So it's not, but it's still shocking. Like, somebody died of a heart attack that was in their late 50s,
Yeah.
early 60s. I'm just so shocked. And then I'm like, oh shit, man, I got heart problems too. It's really not that shocking. I've had some high blood pressure, so it's just, I know it's a terrible joke, but that's our humor. That's my humor.
It's the way
That's
we
just who
are.
I am. I'm a terrible
It is.
person and I'm not right, as the podcast states. So,
Yeah, that's Mike said something. He was watching the news and said something about, well, I'm not going to say the name. Let's just say
okay.
a very old politician, a very old famous mayor.
Okay.
I guess the report was that he's
Okay.
dying. Basically, he's not doing well and
Yes.
he's most
Yes.
likely going to die soon. And I looked at Mike and I said, well, he's old. I just said, he's old. And Mike was like, well, dying laughing. It's like, wow. And I said, well, what? Old people die. That's what we do. We're getting there,
Yeah.
you know? And
I know.
it's,
Well,
anyway,
that's
it,
okay.
it, it's not a politician I particularly care for. So I guess I sounded a little,
Little mean, little
cold.
harsh.
I sounded a little cold. He's old.
Well, somebody was talking about some politician being wheeled in their wheelchair to vote or something. Then he died. I don't know. It's just like, uh, which, hey, we have people on our side that have done the same stuff. So we know that there was a female that was in there a little long. She was a
Little
little too
long.
long in the tooth. And we were just
Yes.
like, oh my God, why? Get her out of
Right.
there. So, yeah,
Right.
it's on both sides. I'm not going to say it's on one, but right now it seems like it's currently on the other side, uh, that
Lots
has
of
some
lots of them that need to pass the torch and get out. Anyway, Mother's
great
Day,
Mother's Day talk. Great. Sorry. Hey, Mom, let's honor you by talking about death and dying and old people. We're
right?
awful.
Um, my oldest daughter, well, both my oldest and my second oldest, for the viewers,
For the viewers.
I have grandchildren. They have my oldest has one daughter, and my next oldest has two sons. And I was fortunate enough as a mom for them to want me in the delivery room, so I was able to be in the delivery room with them, and that was just an amazing thing because our mom was in the delivery room for mine, and
Yeah.
I mean, she worked at the hospital that they were all delivered in. Well, except for one was delivered at Kaiser, or two.
Okay.
Um, anyway, but it was really something. She was still there and was still allowed in with us, and that was really special to have my mom there during
Oh, yeah.
my deliveries. How did you feel about all that?
Well, I was even more fortunate because with my first, I had a C-section after like 12 hours of, the whole thing, and I wouldn't dilate. So it was emergency C-section because she had gotten stressed and pooped in the water. She pooped
Yeah.
inside me. Kids always shitting on me. She started out
Poop in the
shitting on me.
bag.
So she pooped in the bag. So, okay, at the time she was a surgery nurse and she also set up the video camera. They were like totally allowing her to tape the surgery.
Yeah.
And so I felt great. She was there every step of the way. And then,
Yeah.
but what's funny about the video, just real quick, I'll tell you, you could see, I only watched it once or twice because it was kind of traumatic. So I think I
Mhm.
just didn't want to watch it. It showed him
Yeah.
starting to cut. Somebody bumped the camera and then it just showed his face for the rest of the time. It didn't even show me. And then at the very end, you just see the baby come out and then away. So it was kind of like not, you could hear everything
Yeah.
going on. And then the second one, same thing. She, because they were only 18 months apart. He was a planned C-section. So I believe she was also in there. And that was a little more traumatic because he seemed fine coming out. But then he had aspirated, but they didn't really know how bad it was, and then he ended up actually being worse and having to spend 3 days in the NICU, and was
Yeah,
released. I got released before he did, so that was hard. But
that's
having
hard.
our mom there, being able,
Hmm.
to come visit at any time she had a break, that was that I was. But I, and not to say that, but I needed it more than you. Not that sounds shitty to say. I'm sure you
No.
needed her too, but we're different people, and I just feel like I freaked out a little bit, about the whole thing because of it was the situation with the C-sections, and I was scared, and I mean, you
Hmm.
did it natural birth and squirted them all out without drugs. You're such a badass bitch. You don't need anybody.
Well,
No, I'm just kidding.
the first one was easy, pretty easy. But all the next three, all three of the others were over 9 pounds.
And you
So
have like a 9, a 9.1, and a 9.5.
yeah.
Good God. No
Well, I think
drugs.
9-1, 9-1, 9-2, and 9-5, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. No,
9.5.
no drugs. Mm-mm.
Were who was 9.5?
I want to say Lauren was 9'5",
Was she late?
or Miranda. I don't remember, to be honest. But no,
Well,
Jason was big. He had a big old round head. He
he
had a
still
Charlie Brown
does.
head.
Not a big head.
He didn't want to come out. They had me in all different kinds of weird positions on that table. They had this trapeze thing I had to hold on to and squat. I mean, I was in so many different positions trying to get him out.
I just remember you telling the story that the gown was around your neck and behind your
Yep,
back. You were pretty much naked, and then
pretty
there
much
was
naked.
interns in there.
Yeah, the room was full of interns watching this whole spectacle, and
That's so gross.
and the doctor really did say straight out. He said, "Mom, there's no more we can do to expand you. You're gonna have to just get this baby out."
Wow.
So they're all cheering me on and helping and doing
Oh,
whatever they
that's so
could,
nice,
But
though.
it was
That's
like,
good.
whew, yeah, he was a big boy, big old head.
Oh my gosh. Well, no, but I was going to ask about the lateness was because with my son, they kept saying he's bigger, and I wasn't dilating again. So for like a week
Yeah,
and a half before that, well, 2 weeks before his due date or something, they're like, you're starting to dilate. Nothing's happening. They just said, we think you're going to have the same problem as before with no dilation. And then they said, we think he's big. And I'm like, no, I just weigh more. I was trying to convince them, no, I started out 10 pounds heavier when I got pregnant. They're trying to explain to me because I was only like 22. They're
he
like,
was
no, that's,
overcooking.
yeah, they're like,
He,
no, but he was,
he's
and he was early. So they took him a week and a
oh
half early. So the point of that is when he was born, he was, I think he was 713, but when I took him for his 2 week checkup, so that was after, if I would have had him by then naturally, he was already nine something. So that was my point
right,
that if I would, they were right. If I would have tried to have him at his due date, he would have been a 9 pound baby. And that was
right,
their fear was that you already have dilation issues and we want to do a surgery. We don't have to pull a 9 pound baby out when we could pull a seven
right,
pound baby out. But that's why I asked because I thought, good God, if that kid was early or right on time, can you imagine if he
right.
would have went over? You would add a 10 pounder for sure, man.
Oh
That's
no, for sure.
crazy.
They were all a little over,
Yeah,
but not much. So a little late, but not much.
yeah.
Anyway, interesting thing having babies in it, and I have only good memories about all of it, even with the traumatic issues. It
Yeah.
still was just an amazing thing to have a baby and nurse the baby, and the whole
Yeah.
business was wonderful.
Speaking of nursing, just in case for our viewers who may not know, and maybe Cheryl will be nice and put like a little graphic up, but she wrote a book on breastfeeding, and we
Ah,
were so excited. We gave her a book sign. We gave her a surprise book
we
signing.
did.
It was silly. We got a cardboard cutout of her book and like a big old thing, and she didn't know. Like we played music and lights and had her sit down, and
It
everybody
was so
brought their
cool.
books, and yeah, we had so
So
much fun
fun.
doing that.
That
And
was really
then,
cute.
I mean, you've written books since then, and we have many more that we need to do. We keep talking about,
Yeah.
but yeah. So the breastfeeding thing, that's I think I don't know if we have time we can talk about that, but we might that might have to be a two-parter and talk about that next week.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, because that, God, there's so much. And then that way we can recap things that we didn't talk about mother that we really wanted to, maybe
Sure.
she'll answer some questions because I forgot to
Sure.
ask her questions. I wouldn't have been able to anyway with Amelia because it's all about her
Yeah,
anyway,
and
but
you had, yeah,
it's
it's
just a
been
busy week. But
busy, busy.
but I was gonna say, I was just talking about this with my coworkers about the whole breastfeeding, and one said, "Yeah, I couldn't." She goes, I dried up." I said, "Yeah, that happened to one of my nieces and a couple of people I know." I said, "It just seems unfair when my sister and I could have had like quintuplets and fed them all because we had so much."
Right.
But I do remember struggling with my son because he was in the NICU. They were giving him formula, and when I brought him home, he did not want my breast. And I had been breastfeeding my daughter up to 15 months, and they're 19 months apart. So I tried to, stop breastfeeding her. So it was still there. The equipment was still
Yeah.
ready to go, and he wouldn't. And I cried because he wouldn't take my breast, and I just kept trying and trying. And finally, he did, which was great because he took formula and the breast. My daughter would not take water from a bottle. She would not take my breast milk from a bottle. She's a bougie little bitch, and nobody could babysit her because she only wanted to be breastfed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see if I can get this to work right. All right, so Mom, Maud. Oh, I should probably not show the name, but whatever.
Oh, well,
That's not her name anymore. Um, second grade picture of our mom. Look
right.
how
I
cute
love
she
it.
is.
I know.
And
Adorable.
you know what? I see like so many faces. Our niece Ashley's
Yeah.
in there. Claire. Just so many little faces,
Yeah.
don't you?
I do too. Yeah. You could tell she was spicy.
Oh yeah. Well, I got another one to share. Here we go. Let's go to. Let's see. Well, this is one that you put together. I think a year or so back.
Oh, yeah, like for a birthday
Yeah. So you got
or Mother's Day. I don't know.
little girl mom. And this is the one I'm going to share a picture of you and her next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
Little girl at the Salton Sea.
Yeah.
Like sexy, mom being sexy at like 14.
Oh my gosh.
Standing on our Uncle John's shoulders at
Yep.
the beach in her circus days. Here's her costume in her circus days.
Yep.
And then she was a nurse for 35 years. Is that right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And then look at her here in probably
Yeah.
the 80s, 90s maybe.
Right, right.
And then this is her today.
Yeah.
Probably a few years back, but
Yeah.
there she is. All right, so this is on the right, you see Wendy, my sister and counterpart here, Wendy.
Yep. That's me.
She was a youngin'. And then here's mom at around the same age.
Yep.
That
What's
is really
funny?
something.
What's funny is if you put my granddaughter probably side by side, you'd see that same thing with her feistiness because
Oh,
she
yeah.
makes those little faces too. So I'll have
Yeah.
to do that. I'll have to do another one.
We'll have to do
Triple
that.
triple threat there.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh, so
How
funny.
cute is that, though?
Yeah.
And then you want to talk about this one? I'm going to pump this up a little bit.
Yeah, because those were thumbnails
So-
for me anyway. But yeah, oops,
Yeah, it's not gonna let me do that. So
that's okay.
go away.
Go away.
Go away. All right. Anyway, so that is a Nurse of the Year award. So tell us about that.
Well, I just remember it was called the Alice Rahman Award that they gave to exceptional nurses, and when she got that, I mean, I didn't really pay attention to the years, but it hadn't, she when that I don't think that award maybe even looked like that when they first did it. I don't know. It's been so many years, but when I took that picture, that was not that long ago. And I know it was like hanging by the cafeteria wall and stuff. And so it was still there. So I'm sure it's probably there to this day. But, I mean, that was just an award of excellence. Like to get your name on the wall in a hospital, it's a pretty big deal. But our mother is so
Yeah.
humble. And she go, well, there's a lot of other great nurses, whatever. It's like, will you just take the compliment that you
Right.
were good? You were good enough to
Yep.
get your name on a freaking wall in a hospital? Come
This
on, man.
little purple arrow right here
Yeah.
points to where her name is, and it's still there today, Redlands Community Hospital.
Yeah.
As far as we know, it's still there.
As far as we know, but it doesn't matter. It was there.
It
And
was
it's
there,
not.
and yeah, she was. Gosh, she went from because we grew up with her going to nursing school, and
Yep.
in fact, she she dropped out of high school at 16. So she ended up after having all of us kids, so 7 years between us,
Yeah.
all four kids, and then she went back and finished high school, got her GED,
Uh-huh.
then went on to nursing school, got her RN,
Yeah.
and ended up in surgery as a surgical nurse, and then a laser. She started working with the laser. She was the first nurse and kind of headed up that department, and
Yeah.
so really exciting stuff. I'm so proud of her and what she
Yes,
did.
definitely.
Yeah, and now she's retired and just being a wonderful mom and grandma
And
and
great
great
grandma.
grandma. All right, now this was in her circus days. So she's
Yep.
on, there's under that chair, those chairs are stacked tables. So the
Yep.
chairs are on top of stacked tables. And so that was, we're going to do a whole thing on the circus.
Oh, yeah.
So that's coming
That's
on
coming,
another
people.
podcast episode.
We come from a long line of circus freaks. I tell people
Yeah,
that
we
all the
are.
time, and I go, I'm not lying. My mom was in the circus. They're like, what?
All right. And there's her nursing picture.
Aw. Just remember at Redlands Mall, they had the uniform shop, and there wasn't a variety, man. It was just like white, 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 white. Everything was white, and
Yeah.
they started to allow them to wear pants, and then she'd wear pants,
Oh,
and they had
yeah.
those nursing shoes. But she said they didn't really wear the hats. Some of the old school girls still wore the hats. For a while, because I remember when we went to Dr. McCall and that nurse Faye, she
Uh-huh.
wore a hat for, I know when I still was going there as a kid, and it's just funny, like how weird, like they all wore dresses and pantyhose and nursing shoes all day long, and now people are wearing the scrubs and any, what they're wearing Crocs, and they're comfortable, but they have to still be, you have to be sanitary, whatever, what I mean, sanitized.
Right.
But it's just funny, well, what they had to go through wearing those damn hats. Like, what was the purpose of the hats? I don't
I
know.
know, right? um, Another thing that our mom did was baton twirling. And I just have this little clip of her twirling.
Oh, yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
Here we go. So there she goes.
Like riding a bike. Mom.
Figure eights, Mom? Figure eights. Yeah. There we go. Look at Grandma. Wow, Grandma. That's pretty
Awesome.
cool. So, yeah. That,
That was like 4 years ago. Wasn't that long ago.
I know.
So she's
She still
84,
can
so
do it.
she could do it now.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
By the way, just for our viewers, the reason I keep bringing up and you are bringing up the nurses stuff especially is because yesterday was the 6th. It was Nurses Day, and it's Nurses Month until, like, I don't know, it runs until the 12th or something, or Nurses Week, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So that's why that's kind of a big deal right now, too, that I made a post, and then, like I have people I work with that are nurses and whatnot at the schools. So I was like, Happy Nurses Week to everybody. And So,
Yep,
it is a big deal, man. Being a
it
nurse
is.
is,
And
it's,
nurses
oof.
are nurturing like moms. I mean, that's it's kind of the
Well,
same.
so,
Most of them are anyway.
we have stories that we're probably not allowed to tell or we shouldn't tell, but man, oh, the one about our own grandma
So,
and
well,
mom's friend, that's, it's not appropriate, but it's a funny ass story, man.
maybe someday we can have mom tell
Some,
it.
oh, I don't know. But yeah, here's the thing. It's like being we know now we have HIPAA laws. You're not allowed to talk about stuff. And technically, I'm sure she was not allowed to talk about things that went on at the hospital. She didn't tell us names. Like,
No, we didn't
she
know
didn't,
any
we didn't know
names.
the people, but oh my God. Talks about, let's just say things like in surgery where they had to remove things from people's bodies that were still in motion, if you know what I mean.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
just some were fascinating, some were sad.
Yeah.
She'd tell us stuff, and then one thing, and I'll tell you right now because she's gonna know. We were in Dairy Queen just today, and she was telling, oh, because I said, look, my granddaughter just got her ears pierced, and we were talking about, and we're in Dairy Queen, mind you, Dairy Queen eating ice cream, and I said, oh, she cried, but she was pretty brave. And then she goes, when I was 14, I had a boil in my ear, and they went to Lancet, and it really wasn't painful. But then I went to get a shot, and I was afraid of that or whatever. And I was just laughing that it reminded me, she's talking about a boil in her ear, and it didn't go much further than that. But it just reminded me of I told the story when I went to Hometown Buffet. She invited me to go with her nursing friends, and this was probably maybe, I don't know, 15 years ago. So they were in their 70s, early 70s, but they're still all getting to where they can't hear, and they're talking loud, and we're in Hometown Buffet. And I knew them because we grew up with them. So, and I probably knew them a little more only because in the 80s, I went and visited her at the hospital, mostly to probably try and get money or something, like, I need to borrow some money, Mom. I'm going to meet you at the hospital at your work. And so I go there and they start talking about surgeries and all kinds of gross ass shit while we're trying to eat at Hometown Buffet. And I'm
Yep.
just trying to like looking around like, oh my God, will you guys shut up? People are staring like loud about bowels and all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
So that's the funny thing, man. Nurses don't give up. They will talk about the
No.
grossest
They
shit in
talk
front
about
because
anything, anywhere. They
but
don't
it's
care.
okay because they're excited. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing. I don't care what our mom has said she might forget in life, but you start talking to her about nursing, and she will talk about medical stuff that you're like, she knows so much, and I know we all forget stuff in life, but man, I'd be like us talking about gymnastics. Once you get us going,
Yeah.
we won't shut up because we know so much about it.
Exactly.
But just, I love it. I love hearing her stories. I love hearing the
Yeah.
knowledge that she has about medicines and procedures, and it is
Hmm.
fascinating, And she remembers this. It is like riding a bike, man. You don't
Yep.
forget that stuff.
Yep. A lot of a lot of cool memories, and for our mom to have gone back to high school and then started nursing school and then was had to do her hours as a nurse's aide, you know, to for whatever units she had to finish for that. Anyway, all while raising four kids under the age of 7 during that first part of it. And
Uh,
for a while, when she was pregnant with you, they still had a rental house in Highland that she was going to try to fix up and clean and paint because they were going
oh
to
yeah.
sell it, I think. So we had that huge ranch with the horses and all the animals, and so just the things that she has done, driving us here and there in that van,
Yeah.
getting us
Look,
to everything we wanted to go to, and
no disrespect to our dad because he'll have his day, but
well, yeah, Father's Day's coming up, so.
But I will say I will trash talk a little bit because it was the time. I won't say it's dad's fault because that's just the way it was for all
Yeah,
women, not
the way
just
it
her.
was.
But let's face it, yes, he did have a business to run. He worked all day. I will not discount that. But for, her going to school and then, like you said, taking us, man, she would work nights and have to try and sleep. She slept in our van. She slept in our van while she took you to Baton, the boys to maybe football, and then me to whatever, or, we all did swimming or whatever it was.
Right.
And she would take us to those activities. I know I went to like a summer camp at Valley Elementary. They had a summer camp there. And we went on field trips and stuff, but I went to Girl Scout camp for a couple years in a row. I know you did stuff. You went to camps,
Yeah.
and yeah, she did all that,
She got us
and
all the stuff prepped and helped and packed everything. And every family vacation, she was the one that packed everything and
yeah.
got all the food together for six of us to travel in a tiny trailer and go on these little vacations.
And I gotta say, and I don't know, I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm not gonna say names. I will say it came from dad's side of the family. It was one of her in-laws that had said something about that dad paid her way through school so she could be a nurse. Like she didn't do her stay-at-home mom job and decided to do this adventure, and he did. And it was like when she told me that back in the day, even then as a young person, I was angry about that. Like, how
Wow.
dare you? And she's just like, she balanced the budget in the family. And
Yeah.
again, no disrespect to my dad. Like, yeah, he made money, but she did all of that, trying not to let it interfere. So it doesn't even matter. Even if he would have had the money to do that and, quote, pay for her nursing school, once again, who's taking all the kids to their doctor's appointments, orthodontist appointments, dentist appointments, and all of our school activities and to school? Because I didn't ride the bus. I know one of our brothers and I walked to school when he was in elementary, and then when I was old enough, I walked to school. I think I rode the bus in junior high only for like maybe 2 or 3 years, and then high school, I think she took me, or what, I don't know. I don't remember riding a bus to high school. Maybe I did. I don't remember. But anyway, it's just the point that she did all of that, not only through getting her GED, and yeah, she had grandma to watch us. I know our grandma watched us a lot for free, obviously, but still, they're still doing the work. That's that whole
Yeah.
thing when someone gave someone a leg up. Yeah, but you weren't inside that person's body and mind doing all of this stuff. You still have to do homework and take tests and go to the school. We didn't have online then, so you had to physically go to these things,
The school.
and she
Yeah.
had to work that around with the. I don't know. I just love that whole premise of somebody helped you and paved your way. Well, what if they did? Like, it's some negative thing, and that was back then when women were really starting to branch out.
Well, I'm glad she did. It was a
I am
great role
too.
model for us, and
Yes.
um, she is a very bright and
Heck
very
yeah.
intelligent person,
Yes.
and has done so much to set an example for us,
Oh yeah.
that we in turn at least tried to set for our kids.
No, we do. We're a little more on the bitter side. She's always tried to be, everything's coming up roses, but she has her moments. She has her moments.
Yeah.
I gotta say too, I don't know if we mentioned this, but I think she was, if not the oldest graduate in her nursing class, or one of. So that's another thing for women to me that was showed us that she did go back and she was older, and that must have been hard back then.
Right. Yeah. To go back
And
and achieve your dream yeah, after having 4 kids and
yeah.
you're in your 30s. That's a big deal.
Well, and having to go, like you said, having to go back to get your GED, like, I mean, that was about, almost 2 years extra of school she had. So all in all, and nursing school took longer than it does now because,
Yeah.
you don't have the online stuff, you don't have computer stuff. Everything was books and handwriting, and you had to go look up shit with the Dewey Decimal System in the library and all that. I mean,
Right.
that was painstaking work compared to, it's a little bit easier now with the technology.
Right.
But man, it just am admire. We grew up with that, seeing what she did and knowing it was possible, not questioning like, oh, I don't think I could do that. Now I couldn't be a nurse because a couple of times when I visited and saw what she had to go through. I'm like, yeah, this is not for me. I can't deal with blood, guts, mucus, people moaning and dying. And I was there once and somebody died. We don't need to go there. I don't want to get
Oh,
anybody in trouble, but I remember that was pretty traumatic. So
yeah.
uh, it's you don't see what happens after in the movies after the person dies and they all walk away. Let's just put it that way. It was pretty traumatic. But yeah, I knew, no, that's not for me, man. It's like someone
Yeah.
being a soldier. It's not for everybody, or a cop, first responders in general. That would weigh on me too much. I'm too empathetic, and I would carry it around. I
Hmm.
couldn't turn it off. No way.
Yeah, but mom is a strong woman. And that,
Yes.
that's just, I think, definitely just a part of the genetic line from our grandmother, from her mom. So
Yep.
um, I think we carry it. Our kids, hopefully they seem to be pretty strong and strong-willed and
Yeah, they're all strong-willed.
girl
There's no
spirit.
there's no question about that.
There's no question.
And not in a bad way. I'm just saying they're all very strong-willed.
Very independent. I'm very proud
Yes.
of all of our children, but
Yeah, all of
especially,
our children.
that the women have followed. And since it's Mother's Day, we're talking about the women.
Yeah.
So Father's Day, we'll be talking about the men of the family, and that's going to be fun because I have so many stories.
Uh-huh. I'm sure you do.
Anyway, well, anything else you want to say about Mother's Day?
Um, I mean, it's funny because we were just talking today about some people that don't have kids get a bad, they get this bad rap, like, oh, you'll never know what it's like. You don't know. How can you have empathy, or how can you? And it's like, yeah, to a point, I guess so. Like, I know people in my circle that do not have kids and work well with kids. Maybe they work in like a psychology capacity, counseling, or they're
Right.
teachers or whatever. And it's like, just because they didn't have kids doesn't mean they cannot handle a child and learn. But I have also met people that I definitely do not know anything about kids, and they're fully admitting, they're like, yeah, I don't know kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's, we had a stepmom and she passed away of cancer 2015 or 14. I think it was 14.
Yeah.
And they got married when I was already in high school. You were already out of high school and married and had kids yourself. So for me, it wasn't like I went to visit, and so I kind of, got to know her probably better because I was the baby, and I went to visit. And that was an interesting experience because that's when in this small town people were not divorced. That was, divorce is like a whisper, like getting divorced. Getting pregnant outside of marriage and getting divorced were taboo subjects in the 70s. And they split in 81, and then I think dad and our stepmom got married in 83. And it was an interesting experience, but she treated us like her own kids. There was no doubt. She accepted us, and it was really tragic that the way she went out, and it was hard on our
Yeah.
dad. And I always sent her a card and everything. She was a really good stepmom. And I was
Hmm.
gonna, and the reason I brought that up is because earlier when you were talking about how, oh well, this weekend, if the kids don't do something, quote, for us, or we don't get to see them, we know that they love us and we love them and all that. But
Hmm.
also, your kids each have stepmoms of their own, and so does my kids have a stepmom. And I couldn't, in my situation, I couldn't ask for a better stepmom for my kids. She's
Hmm.
been nothing but respectful for my kids. And so, if they said, hey, we're going to go over there because they don't see her as often, I'm not going to be offended, because it's like, you
Yeah.
see me every day. And of
Yeah.
course, if they're like, hey, can we do something Saturday or Monday or whatever, I'm like, first of all, we don't need to do something. when you see me, if you want to say Happy Mother's Day or call me, text me, I'm fine. I'm not that kind of mom because I'm not going to sit here and go, after all the things I did for my kids, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, I could also say after the shitty things that I did to my kids too. All of us have something that, maybe that we're not proud of that we did as a parent. And, it doesn't matter. All is forgiven and all that. But I'm just saying that people make a day, any kind of holiday about. If people are like that, though, they're usually like that about Christmas. They're selfish about, I want my kids to spend Christmas all with me. Like, okay, well, they have other families or their own family, and I hate when I hear that like an in-law, does that kind of stuff, that they insist that they come to their house.
We've been very, very, very fortunate with all of, at least I know I have, with all of mine. They're everybody's pretty good about trying to be
Yes,
you know
definitely.
fair and loving toward everybody else,
Yeah.
in sharing. And we grew up with that. Grandma always was like that. Every family gathering, everyone was invited, and
Yeah, because like I know your kid's
kids were the ones
stepmom.
important. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I know your kid's stepmom, and we talk when they all come, and we talk. It's there's no, which I understand if there's bad blood. Sometimes there's just things that happen to people. Like I just can't with that
Yeah.
person. But there have been people. We won't mention names, but there have been people in our family that we loathed. We did not want to see them or talk to them, but we acted for the kids. I will be cordial and happy, and even if I cannot stand that person, the best thing you can
Yeah.
do is just ignore them and walk away and not try to be obvious about it. You don't have to strike up a conversation, but I will
Right.
never be out and out rude because that's not fair to the kids, man. You don't do that stuff. That's just an
Yeah, and it's the same, like with especially like with in-laws.
yeah.
It not all in-laws get along well. But
That's
and
true.
speaking of that, my mother-in-law from my okay, this is my third marriage. So viewers, most of you know that. If you don't, yeah,
He's a real Liz Taylor
I-
of the neighborhood.
my three was the home run,
At least
right?
you're not a black widow. Sorry.
But but all
Mike
of
would be scared
their
right now.
all of their mothers, in fact, all of their parents, their biological parents are gone. So I, each person, I've had to see them go through the loss of their parents.
That is true.
And that's
wild,
been
you know.
tough.
Yeah.
That's been tough to see them have to go through the death of their parents.
Yeah.
And here I am, ours are, still healthy and around,
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful for that. And I think my my two, well, we recently lost my two youngest kids' grandmother, so that in-law,
Yes.
my ex mother-in-law, although I never called her ex, so
Yeah.
that was hard. It was just like with a few months ago that we lost her,
Yeah.
and it as you start seeing that happen, and here you are with healthy parents.
Yeah, she was a
Yeah.
cool lady.
Yeah, but I'm so grateful that I have my mommy
Yep, me too.
still here, and that she's a giving, loving person, and we love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom.
Love you very much.
Yes, thank you for all that you put up with us.
Oh yeah.
Our
Yep.
brothers are angels, or as one of our brothers says, he's the white sheep of the family.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's such an ass.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Happy Mother's Day.
And have a good rest of your week. And we will see you on the next one.
On the next one, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.